commiserations to anyone that backed our multi last week. We'll get into that in just a second, Rocky. It was another stiff loss for us, but I've got a couple of big questions for you this week on the Snapshot. We're going to talk about the big game on Saturday, Brisbane taking on GWS. Probably game of the round, first versus fourth battle. Giants back on the right foot last week against the Hawks, as we've already spoken about. Lions, bit of a slow start against the Saints, but all their big names coming through with the goods. Rayner, McCluggage, Lockie Neal, big in the touches. We go back earlier in the year, though. The Giants won by 54 points in round 7 against the Lions, rather. Tom Green had his hands all over the footy that day. And we've already touched on Jesse Hogan at the start of the show and the form that he's in. So I'm curious to see how you think the Lions attack him defensively.
Yeah, I think they'll probably send Harris Andrews or the like to him. Harris is one of the best defenders in the competition. You go back to that game, and these teams are in completely different positions. That was Anzac Day, or Anzac round. Sorry, the Giants were 6-1 after that. The Lions may have been 1-6 or thereabouts, but. You lean towards Brisbane. Their best is as good as anyone. You speak about what they did at centre bounce last week, the Giants. They gave up the first 8 centre clearances or 9 clearances. If they do that against the Lions, they'll be 7 goals down.
Easily.
Yep. Yeah, particularly at the Gabba. So they're going to have to make sure they're on in the midfield battle. You want to limit Hogan's ability. I think he'll kick 2 or 3. I don't think he'll kick a big bag this weekend. I think the Lions' defence will stand up well against him. I'd imagine he'll get the Harris Andrews matchup, although they may look to free Harris up and come third man up. So Hogan will have his work cut out. Kelly potentially comes back in as well for the Giants. So it sets up as a ripping contest, second v fourth. Ramifications for both teams. Brisbane win this, they can potentially, if things don't go Sydney's way on Friday night, they potentially are on top of the ladder.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake. Brisbane did shut Hogan down well when they last met, held him to just that 1 goal, but I guess the catch-22 with that is Jake Riccardi and Callum Brown both kick 3 each, so that's where things could get interesting for the Lions. We'll keep the chat, though, on Jesse Hogan because I want to pivot to the Coleman Medal where you basically declared last week that it's a one-horse race. Curno's going to walk in with it. He's got it by the length of the Flemington Straight. And now here we are. The market's fluctuated. Jesse Hogan, 5 goals against my Hawks last week. Now into $2 to win the Coleman, and Curnow had a quiet game. And he's at about $1.80. Who do you think, before I get into the market and, ask you the real serious questions, are you still confident on Curnow?
Yeah, I think so, just with who they've got to play. But Hogan deserves to probably win it. He's been outstanding. You don't expect Curnow to go goalless and Hogan to kick 5. So if that happens once more, it's probably game, set, match. But Hawthorn and then West Coast for Curnow, I think, and then St Kilda is opportunity to kick probably another 10 to 15, maybe even 20 goals in the last 3 weeks, which is crazy when you think about it. Could get hold of West Coast, could get hold of Hawthorn as well, depending on how those matchups work. So still lean towards Curnow, but Hogan, as Lynchy spoke about a little bit earlier, he's probably the full forward in the All-Australian team.
Absolutely, yeah. And GWS has the Lions this week, then they got Freo, then they got the Dogs down in Ballarat. That's a very tough 3 weeks ahead for him. All right, we've got to get into the multi. Last week was another, we've had a couple of these this year where we've gone down by a couple of points, and Fremantle let us down last week.
Yeah, they did. So we were almost smoking the Cubans, ready to go down into the valley, buy some Chinese for lunch and sit back and enjoy. But started on Saturday night. The Pies got the job done. You took them at the line. So.
And you didn't like it, but yep, they were there.
I was a bit nervous, but we're probably lucky Carlton didn't kick straight.
Yep.
What was the line? About 10?
I think it was 8.5.
8.5. So we snuck in there and then you just got it done again. I wasn't nervous at all watching the Giants Hawks.
Yeah, my heart was, obviously with
heart
Hawthorn.
And head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a tough battle. Yeah, Giants fell in that final term, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah, about I suppose about 5 o'clock on Sunday. I thought we were pretty much home. Brisbane up by about 50 odd points at halftime against St Kilda. That one's locked away, and Fremantle, they're about 3 or 4 goals up, or big enough gap to win
to
against.
Feel confident.
To win against Essendon halfway through the last quarter, and then they stop, and the Bombers find a way and beat us by a point.
Yeah, it's the less said about it, the better. It would have been nice to get a second one at home, but alas, we press on. We still got 3 weeks of home and away footy before the finals.
NRL, how have you gone in that? None?
None. I'm trying to think what happened. Yeah, and last week it was 2 out of 4 legs, and Giral just can't.
So we're ahead of the
tip a winner,
NRL.
so.
Yeah, well, let's just blame him.
Yeah, I do anyway. So
NRL expert who knows nothing.
yeah, shots fired. Let's look ahead to this week. I have gone with West Coast plus 8.5 against North Melbourne. I know you don't like this because it's down in Hobart. Always a tough place to beat the Roos down there, but I think West Coast is playing some good footy. Should be a close game. And I've gone Essendon minus 12.5 for all the obvious reasons. The Suns just can't wear the white shorts, as you've already said. And this is a must-win for the Bombers.
Yeah, it certainly is. Keep Essendon's finals chance alive. I don't mind it. I'm just not sure. I never feel confident going with West Coast and North Melbourne in a multi. But moving on, I'm going to take Sarong. I'm going player markets. We're recording a little bit later this week, so the players' markets are up and about on the Neds app. I'm taking Sarong 30+. I think he'll get the job done against the Cats. He's had an outstanding season, maybe a little bit of a smoky for the Brownlow as well. Ooh. It's going to be that should be a good night.
Should be, yeah.
The Brownlow medal count. Dacos, Bontempelli,
Heaney,
Neil, Heaney.
Yep.
Like there's a number of players that could potentially win it. And then we're shifting our attention to Sunday afternoon final game, going back to the Well, who I said on radio during the week, probably the best player over the last 6 years, and that's probably discrediting. He's probably 8 years or something like that. He's the number one player in the competition for me, Marcus Bontempelli, 2+. I think he'll go about it the right way. The Crows might try and put some attention into him, but I don't think you can stop him from hitting the scoreboard.
Nah, I can't disagree with you there. I don't know how the Bont doesn't have a Brownlow yet himself. To recap, we've got West Coast plus 8.5 against North. We've got the Bombers to cover against the Suns, Caleb Sarong 30+ against the Cats, and the Bont 2+ against Adelaide Crows, $13.50 for this one.
Juicy, I think we're due.
You say it every week and it fills me with confidence, but yeah, we've got to get one up. So let's cross our fingers, Rocky, and we'll do it all again next week.
Beautiful. Good on you, Ron.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website